Tracy Jones. Tracer, where are you this week? How are you doing today?
I'm still in Florida, still at Minnesota Key. I'm going to be here for another 2 weeks. We've had a situation where we had the Red Sea. What is it called? When you get more algae?
The red tide.
Red tide.
Yeah.
Thank you. A red tide, and there's a lot of dead fish.
Yeah.
A lot of dead crabs, and it's kind of sad.
It is sad.
And it smells too.
Yes,
it
is really bad for those that have not experienced it. For lack of a better term, it's some kind of, the water gets stirred up and some kind of bacteria, and the fish die, and they come up to shore, and it really is. It's sad. So, are you not allowed to get in the water?
Well, can I be brutally honest?
Water?
I don't want to get in the water. I don't like stepping on fish. I don't like stepping on crabs. Things are hitting my leg. I saw a dead eel actually out on shore.
Wow.
Yeah, so a puffer fish. It's kind of ugly. So it's just one more thing I can complain about, Thom. And I love to complain.
Have the accommodation, well, first of all, because we've talked about the accommodations a little bit, but did family kind of come in? Because, when you know how it goes, Trace, all the best laid plans, right? Family, you love them, you can't wait to see them, and then everybody shows up, and not always so grand. Where are you with all that?
Everybody canceled. Everyone canceled. And let me just say this, because we really haven't touched on this. That storm, that hurricane that hit, It hit Minnesota Key. It hit in Inglewood, Florida. So you have debris. This is really sad. We're getting some sad stuff here, Thom. That debris on the street is probably 10 feet high.
Yeah.
Really took a hit. So it's just sad for a lot of people. So there's a lot going on here, and I should have canceled my trip, and I did. That was my mistake.
Why should you have canceled your trip?
Well, because half the restaurants are closed. The beach is bad. There's trees down everywhere. The internet doesn't work. It got hit, and I'm not really enjoying myself. It's tough to compare this to Bellevue. I mean, Bellevue is such a cool place and such a happening place. I just want to go home. I'm ready to go home. But I still got 2 more weeks left.
Well, I was going to say, you still got 2 more weeks. I want to get into something serious with you here for a second. Because, the World Series, you and I touched on this last week about the whole Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler thing, where they're starting to show some cracks and running out of steam, getting near the end of the year. Was Verlander running out of steam? I want to ask you a serious question. When you're going through it, or when all is said and done, do teammates, and maybe you don't express it to another teammate, but do teammates, in this case, the Phillies, do they kind of look, when they get back home and maybe they're talking to their wife or they're talking to a couple of buddies who are in town for the World Series, whatever it might be?
Yeah.
Do they sit there and get down on other teammates who don't deliver when it means the most?
I don't think so. I think you've been through so much during the season. You have that bond. They had a great year. I mean, they came from one of the wild card teams to actually be in the World Series. Just watching, and I know this is going to sound really bad because I'm not one of these guys, but the Phillies to me looked like they had really good chemistry. I don't like to use that word, but it seemed like they really liked each other and rooted each other on. But they just came across a better team. The Astros are a better team. And Thom, if you remember, I made that prediction, right? The Astros. Am I right or I'm wrong?
You did, and that's one of the reasons we have you on the show. I don't know if we ever told you this or not, but one of the reasons we have you on this show is because of your ability to see things that a lot of the rest of us just simply don't see.
Bingo! And that's going to bring me up to my next topic is not only does it work with baseball, but it also works with politics. And, of course, this being Election Day is huge. Do you not agree, Thom?
Tracy, before you came on, They had asked me, Paul and Casey, the Ham and Eggers, had asked me about, tonight with Ohio University playing Miami of Ohio, my alma mater, OU, just up the road in Oxford. Was I going to go to the game, watch the game? I said, I said, this is one of my favorite nights of the year. I like just settling in front of the TV and like following all of the political, the voting that comes in and everything going on. I really look forward to this night every couple of years.
Yep, me too.
And I'm sure you are too.
I am. And let me just make a couple predictions here. And you guys are just going to shake your head because we'll be talking about this on Thursday. The Republicans will win the House. I think that's a given.
Yes.
Now, on the Senate side, I'm a little shaky about 3 states that could go either way. I'll make this prediction. We will not know in 2 or 3 days if the Republicans or the Democrats won that Senate race. You know why? Little controversy, right? We're still counting ballots. We'll be counting hanging chads. And it'll just be ridiculous. And I worry about people really getting upset about this. I mean, you could have an election in Guatemala, right? The president? And you can count the votes in one day. You did that in Brazil about 2 weeks ago. But you can't do it here in the United States.
Well, the thing that I find interesting, the thing that I find interesting, and I read a long story about this a number of months ago, because look, depending on who thinks they're going to win or who thinks they're going to lose or whatever it might be, you'll get both sides complaining about this, were we counting dead people's votes? Were we doing it?
Right.
There are very few things in the world that I would want the United States to emulate as it pertains to the country of France, because we have been carrying their tail for the better part of 100 years on multiple fronts, okay? But in France, they only have paper ballots. There are no voting machines. There is none of that nonsense. They found out that there might be something to voting machines. They might be subject to some kind of hacking and all these kinds of things. So the French decided years ago, and to go with what you're saying, the French decided, here's a ballot, fill it out, and we're going to add them up. That's what we're doing from now on, and you can release who won and who lost by the end of every single voting day.
Just simplifying things, right? Other countries can do it. Why can't we? I mean, how about the whole voter ID? And that was racist. How insulting for black people, I thought. I mean, you have to show an ID to check out a library book, your license. You have to have ID. And for people to call that into question is just, you got to shake your head. And let me just say this, and I don't want to open up a can of worms, but those liberal Democrats are vicious and mean-spirited and angry people. Do you not agree with that, Thom?
Tracer, I sit here and I'm doing my best to just I'm gonna just try to stay focused down the middle. I think it's pretty evident in most of the things that I talk about that I feel like people would be able to figure out which way I might be more than leaning. That would not be the accurate word, leaning.
Right.
But I think that when it comes to this part, there are a lot of nasty people on both sides. I will say that. Well, I think there are a lot of nasty people out there. I really do.
Okay.
I mean, some of the things they say about each other and the way that, sometimes a lot of these people on both sides are just going out of their way to say nasty things about other people. And I don't think that's the way this whole thing is designed to work.
Man, I got to disagree with you, Thom. I really do. And let me give you an example of the difference and how mean and angry the liberal Democrats. My wife said the same thing as you. Talking about, they're equal, going back and forth.
No, I did not say they were equal. I didn't say that. I said both sides do it.
Both sides. I said, well, let me prove something to you, Danae. I said, let me get a bumper sticker and put a vote for Joe Biden on the bumper sticker, and you could drive your car around. She did for a week. And we were in California when she did this. Nothing happened to her car. You know, one of those ride with Biden bumper stickers. And then I says, okay, nothing happened. She says, yeah, nothing happened. I said, okay, watch this. I put a bumper sticker, Trump 2024 for president, on her mom's car, on the back of her mom's car. She drove that car around for a week. Do you know they had so many dents in that car, they had to sell it for scrap? Can you believe that?
Why would you put that on your mother-in-law's car? Why not put it on your car?
Because I didn't want my car damaged. I was trying to prove a point to my wife. I mean, the people were spitting on it, just putting dents all over the car. This is the people I'm talking about. This is the mean-spirited Biden voters are.
But you're down there in Florida country now. I mean, you're down there. And look, you couldn't have been happy with Donald Trump using the nickname for Ron DeSantis, who's done an incredible job down there in Florida. I mean,
yes, he has.
They're talking about, Miami-Dade County, tons of Latino voters, African-American voters, for the first time in 40-plus years, flipping Republican in a gubernatorial race, which hasn't happened forever, because he relates to the blue-collar, the common man out there. And for Trump to take that shot the other day at DeSantis, giving him a nickname, DeSanctimonious, that's what I'm talking about. That stuff happened on both sides. That's what I mean, Tracy. That's what I mean.
I know. And Trump he's so thin-skinned. He just can't, and I like him. I like his policies. But he is so thin-skinned. DeSantis has done such a great job here in Florida. Do you know they never shut this state down? You were never forced to wear a mask. I mean, I asked someone the other day at Winn-Dixie, I said, did you guys ever have to wear a mask coming into the grocery store? And they said no. He's done a great job. I tell you who, just my take, I think Trump is going to have Carrie Lake as his running mate. That's my take.
I've known Carrie Lake. I've known Carrie Lake a long time. When I was out there living in Arizona, she was a news anchor forever. She would be like here in Cincinnati, Cherie Palello, or somebody like that, or Norma Rashid back in the day. It'd be like her, Kid Andrews, or somebody like that. Yep. It would be like one of those ladies running for governor in the state of Ohio. She is very smart, really likable woman. Whether you're going to vote for her or not, but she's very likable woman. A lot of people who are watching our show right now, Tracy, are wondering why not a ticket of Trump Jones in 2024.
I was president of my junior high. I will say I ran against the most popular girl, Sue Camus, and I beat her. It was pretty close, what they say, but I was president of my junior high. Of course, I wasn't president of a fraternity like some people, but I like Trump's policies. I don't believe in open borders, energy independent. Are you one of those guys that worry about Ukraine's border and you don't worry about our border?
No, I'm definitely not one of those guys. No.
Are you one of those guys that want to get a booster shot every other week? I bet you Casey's, I'm just going to guess this. I bet you Casey's wife is a big-time lib and says, you know what?
Why are you beating up on his wife? Why don't you beat up on Casey, not his wife?
Well, I know, but she's a liberal. Let's say she's just a liberal, and she's probably Casey. How many booster shots have you had, Casey?
Me, I have only had the one initial shot and then a booster.
Oh, God.
See, Tracer?
And still got COVID?
I did, but I had to for work. My job back then was freelancing.
All right, well, let me ask you this then, Casey. Let me ask you this, because, no one in my family got it. And including our kids.
The shot or COVID?
Any of it. The shot. None of it, right? None of it.
Oh, okay.
I did only because my only chance, if I was ever going to get rehired again, was I had to have a shot, and that's the only reason I did it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. And look, I'm not telling any of you how to do it. I'm not a doctor. But don't tell me what to do either.
I I would personally, I would have never taken the shot if that, like, I would have never done it, but I had to for work. If I wanted to continue going to Bengals games, working that, I had to do it.
Yep.
Personally, in my life, my dad, who took the first shot, he was bad. Like, he was in rough shape after taking it.
Right.
So I don't fault anyone for not wanting to take it, but it was really, I struggled a little bit being forced to take it, to work.
Yeah.
It's tough.
You know what's criminal? You know
What
what's
about
criminal?
you didn't ask Paul, the other part of the ham and egger. Paul, I'm assuming you've had, how many of you had, Paul?
Of course.
Well, I was supposed to get the shot, and then a week before I got the shot, I ended up having to get the two of them for work. But the week before I got it in January of a year ago, I actually got COVID, and I'm still almost 2 years later, and I can barely taste and smell. It's been brutal.
Yeah.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
But I did end up getting them both, for work too.
Here's the point, right? Because the President of the United States said it, the head of the NIH said it, Fauci, the midget Fauci, he said it. If you get the shot, you don't get COVID, right? Did they not say that, Thom?
That's what they said.
And you did. Was it worth shutting down the economy?
I was with a guy the other day down in Texas visiting my daughter in college, who is a gym owner in New York.
Yeah.
His business completely gone.
Done.
Gone.
Yeah.
D-U-N. All right, so now look, let's shift gears here for a minute. I want to ask you, are you following college football at all?
You know, I'll be honest with you, not like I should. Is there something you want to ask me? Because I wasn't.
Yeah, because I want to ask you, you're a California guy. Okay, you're one of those Southern California guys, right? And you were a football player.
Don't be jealous.
I regularly beat up on this program when the topic arises. And I don't think it's worth spending a lot of time talking about the Pac-12. But I got to tell you, Tracer, they don't play football in the Pac-12 like they play football in the SEC and the Big Ten and the Big 12. I look at teams like UCLA and Oregon, and these teams being ranked in the top 10. I mean, come on, Tracer. You're a Midwest guy now, Tracer. Come on now.
Yeah, let's talk about the Big Ten going back a few years ago. I know I'm kind of changing subjects on you, but remember the Pac-10? Remember the six-pack, whatever? How they used to beat the hell out of Woody Hayes' and Bo Schembechler's teams?
That's 1,000 years ago, Tracy.
It's not 1,000 years ago. It's only like 40 or 50 years ago. But, you know, my point is, back in the old days, West Coast football used to be pretty good. I don't know what happens to them. I don't know how you can't recruit top players to go to Southern California. I mean, it's a great place. How does UC in that stinky area get players and someone in Westwood?
Wait a minute now. What do you mean stinky area? What does
that's
that
a nice
mean?
Area? Well, it's not a
Clifton's
very nice area.
Clifton's getting better by the day. They got a great stadium. They got great complex. They got it going on.
Okay, you've been to Westwood, right?
I have.
UCLA. Okay. What do you think? Who do you think offers more, UCLA or UC? And that's a hats off to the coaches because they're able to recruit good players. I don't know what happens to the West Coast. I don't, because they should have pretty good football, and they haven't had it for 40 or 50 years. I was going way, way, way back.
So are you like a USC guy or a UCLA guy?
I was always an SC guy. I was always an Anthony Davis, Pat Hayden, Todd Marinovich.
OJ.
I like you.
OJ.
Oh, yeah, OJ was in there. But it's not the same. It's not the same, and they're still having trouble. I mean, they're doing better, but they have trouble keeping coaches, right? At
Yeah,
USC.
well, they got one at SC now. Well, he's going to be there a long time. Lincoln Riley. They gave him whatever it was, 10-year, $100 million deal, something insane. Yes, Paul, please chime in.
Yeah, well, we had something for you here, Tracy. So I don't know if you can see the screen, but We have some Tracy Jones rookie cards down here on the desk, and we were going to have to sell Chatterbox Sports, but then they came back to us and that they said that they wanted all of our assets for the company, and then we said, no, that's a deal breaker. So the Tracy Jones rookie cards here are keeping us afloat. Oh, God.
Did we lose them for a second?
There they are. There.
Can you see him, Tracer?
We got you. Can you see him?
Yeah, I see him. Is that another shot at me? You guys making fun of me that they're only 50 cents? You know, if I sign those cards, they'll be worth $5. That's not bad, right?
That's not bad. It's better than 50 cents.
That's enough for my ham and egg sandwich.
Those are big-time cards, Tracer. That's you in action, man. You were cut up. I mean, you were all ripped up, looking good.
Yeah. That was a long, long time ago. It was a long time ago. You guys really like to hit me here, don't you? Talk about the past. I don't like to talk about.
Why would the ham and eggers do that to Tracy Jones?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, here's some memories for you.
There they are, Tracer.
There they are.
Oh,
Look at that
cool.
shot on the left. That's a knock, no doubt. That's a knock.
That's a ground ball to shortstop. Make a right turn back to the dugout. I rolled over on that pitch. I remember. That's some great memories. See that 57 right there? I wasn't supposed to make the team out of spring training. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But when you hit 368, and I was the last guy to make it on that ball club. And when everyone got on the bus, I actually asked Pete, did I make the club? I had to ask because I didn't know. No one told me I made it or didn't make it. He says, let me tell you something, Tracy. I'm going to give you some advice. I'd get your ass on that bus before I changed my mind. Got up and went north. That's a true story.
So wait a minute. You get to the last day, and for people who don't understand this, and I know it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because communication is such a big thing now. But you mean to tell me you play in the last spring training game, and after the game, the team is getting on a plane and quote-unquote breaking camp, and they're flying back to Cincinnati to have opening day. You mean to tell You mean to tell me the game ends and you don't know? I mean, I'm assuming because camp was ending, your bags were packed or whatever it might be to go wherever. Obviously, you hope for the big league team. You mean to tell me nobody in the Reds organization had told you were on the major league team after the last game?
Thom, you remember back in the old days, they would wait to the last day to add that last player sometimes. Do you remember, right?
I do.
Are they going to bring an extra pitcher? Are they going to bring an outfielder, an infielder? How about a third catcher? And that decision was made like the last day. So I packed my bags, and after the game, I was like, because I wasn't supposed to make it. When you're given the number 57, you're not supposed to make the team, let me tell you. And I just really, really hit, and Pete liked me. And to hear that story, a couple of the people in the organization wanted to send me to AAA, and it was Pete that stuck up for me and that I made the ball club. And then, of course, the first play of the game, I misplayed it. Remember, Gary Ritas got a triple, and we were down 3-0. And everybody started booing me, and I thought, there goes my career.
Yeah, but then when you got up there at the plate with bat in hand, you were doing damage.
Oh, didn't I? Man,
You
got
could hit.
that knock off Steve Carlton. I stole second base, Thom, and you know what? There wasn't a damn thing they could do about it. Hey, before we leave, are we running out of time here?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, just one more. Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I know that your mother-in-law doesn't really like me. Okay?
That's not true. That's not true,
Well,
but go
okay.
ahead.
She's a college professor, right?
She was, not anymore.
Okay. So she's probably a liberal. I tell you what, just do me a favor and stick one of those Trump for President 2024 on the back of her bumper and just see what happens. Make that point to your mother-in-law, will you please? Like I made the point, these liberals are mean, mean people, Thom.
I will. You know what? That might actually be kind of fun to do that to her car. So I may take you up on that.
I thought you liked her.
Well, that would be kind of fun, though. I do like her, but that would be kind of fun. All right, Tracer, enjoy the red tide and enjoy the Florida sunshine.
All right. See you, boys.
All right,
I'll see you on Thursday.
later.
See you, Tracy.
Ham
See
and
you,
Eggers.
Tracy.
Ham and Eggers.
See you, Tracy.
So long. He says so long, the Tracer.